Florida State versus Miami. This is the week right here. This right here. Let me drink a little bit of my Diet Coke. Let me drink a little bit. Florida State, Miami, it does not get better than this. This is the week that we've all been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. Look, man, I expected this week 6-3 Miami, 9-0 Florida State. I planned on doing a huge breakdown, just breaking down the game piece by piece. But because of the recent things in my life, I just haven't had time to do a YouTube. For you guys who don't know, I just had a beautiful, healthy, happy, wonderful baby girl, and I have entered fatherhood for the very first time. And it's something that I'm excited about. I did put that on my community post. And for everybody who commented, everybody who said congratulations, everybody who said welcome to fatherhood, I appreciate you guys so much. So I'm just going to give you my thoughts on this game, and let's dive into it. Miami, Florida State. Now, as much as I want to get on here and say Florida State, I hate y'all. Florida State, y'all suck. Florida State, you're terrible. Florida State, we're going to dominate y'all. I'm not going to do that because that would be disingenuous. Florida State is 9-0, and they are a good team. They didn't get to 9-0 by accident. They are a really good team. You got Jordan Travis at quarterback. You got Trey Benson. They added Keon Coleman, who's a freak at the wide receiver position, to go with Johnny Wilson. Then you got Jaheim Bell. They have a nice offense. It's an offense that stresses you out. Right? Because if you play back to stop their wide receivers, then they're going to try to kill you with the running game. If you come up to stop the running game, then you're leaving yourself susceptible to the 50-50 ball to Keon Coleman or Johnny Wilson, who throughout the season, they won a lot of those. If you stop them, if you guard everything right, perfect coverage on Keon Coleman, perfect front, perfect lineman, then you have to deal with a veteran quarterback in Jordan Travis who can make the throws, who can scramble, and can make anybody miss. So and then Norvell, he is a good play caller. He is a good schemer. So when you put that all into a ball, it really puts a lot of stress on a defense. Now, there is this notion that Miami is terrible. That is what most people would say. I mean, that not that people would say that, but that's how people feel. If you ask people what is the Miami Hurricanes record, I think most of them would say 2 wins, 4 wins. But no, Miami is 6-3. They've been in every game. And one reason they've been in every game is because of Coach G and their defense. When you pull up the stats, the defense is in top of every category. It is a defense that really, I watched them go up against Texas A&M. I watched them go up against Drake May. And although Drake May did have a great game, the first half and a little bit into the third quarter, the man was confused. This is a defense that has played well throughout the whole season. Ruben Bain, Kiko, Cam Kitchings, James Williams, they've done great defensively. So then you would say, okay, well then why do people think that Miami has only won a couple games? Why do people overlook this Miami team? It's because of the quarterback position. Let's not sugarcoat it. It's the quarterback position. So where you look at Florida State, they have a veteran quarterback who's playing at high confidence level. This man is in control of the offense. He knows his offense. He's going to play with confidence, and his play has showed that. You look at Miami, they don't have that. Hell, we don't even know who the starting quarterback is going to be. Hell, the footage is already out there of Tyler Van Dyke. When you throw him in zone coverage, the man don't know what to do. So You look at this game, in my opinion, I believe that Miami is somewhat overlooked. People don't talk about how good Miami offensive line has been, how good their running backs have been, how good their wide receivers have been, because it's been overshadowed by some of the worst quarterback play I've ever seen. And I've been watching football a long time. A long time. And then when I look at Florida State, people talk about Jordan Travis and Keon Bell, but they don't talk about Kalen DeLoach. They don't talk about Green. They don't talk about Jared Verse. Right? So when I look at this game, I'm going to say this. Florida State, you're a good team, but you're beatable. And I do believe the Miami Hurricanes can beat this Florida State team. I've seen Boston College lock up Keon Coleman to where Keon Coleman didn't have any catches. I've seen Clemson get physical with Florida State, and it came down to Florida State throwing a Hail Mary pass to Keon Coleman, and he caught it on a backup corner because Clemson's starting corner got injured. Nate Wiggins had, once again, stalled Keon Coleman out. Keon Coleman had one touchdown in that Clemson game while Nate Wiggins was in it, and it wasn't on Nate Wiggins. It's because it was a beautiful drawed-up play where they faked the screen, and they actually Keon acted like he was going to block, and then he got out. Right? So on Twitter, I put out there, the blueprint is there. When you look at what Duke did and what Clemson did, you got to run the ball at this Florida State team, because if you run the ball, not only are you attacking the front seven, and remember, Miami has a good O-line and a good running back, but you're keeping their offense on the sideline, which I believe is what you want to do. If Miami gets in there and they go 3 and out very quickly, who knows what could happen? Because once Florida State figures out the Miami Hurricanes defense, and if they get rolling, it could get ugly. But I do think Miami can win this game. Will they win it? It's all dependent on quarterback play and turnovers. And Miami showed that. If they don't turn over the ball, they can play with the best of them. If they do turn over the ball, it could get ugly. Right? Anybody who says Florida State's going to win this game, I don't blame you. Look at their record. Look who they got. It's that dope. But I think if I'm Mario Cristobal, what you got to do is you got to make this a dog fight. You got to make this a mano y mano, right? You got to go in there, and you're going to have to play perfect to beat this Florida State team. Because another thing that I haven't said either is that Florida State has done well. They've gotten punched in the mouth by Clemson, by Duke. They got punched in the mouth. They said, down by 10 points. It's a little blood, but we're going to keep fighting, and they ended up winning in the end. If somebody said, how does Miami win this game? You make this into a dog-out, drag-out fight. You run the ball. You surprise them, throw it on first down. You run the ball. You run this clock. You beat it down. You run at these boys. You get physical with these boys. You give the ball to Mark Fletcher. You get a ball to Henry Parrish. You get a ball to Don Chaney. And every now and then we got to throw one up to Kobe Young, because you saw old boy from Pittsburgh went up against Thorpe finalist award, Renardo Green, and he grabbed the ball off his head and said, give me that. Right? Give me that. And also by us running the ball, you keep the defense on the sideline. And I'm telling you right now, if Miami can come up with moving the chains, with running the ball, with being physical and not turning the ball over, Florida State's offense, Mike Norvell has less chances of seeing Coach Guidry's defense and really dissecting it and really figuring out where they can finally makes things happen. If you're Florida State, what you need to do is you need to come out the gates quick. If Florida State makes Miami quarterback have to quarterback, it could be a long game. I'm just being honest. If Florida State comes out of the gate fast and turns this into we score, now you got to score, I don't know if Miami can keep up with that, especially with the way the quarterback position is played. Especially with the way the quarterback position is played. Florida State are the favorites. They should be. They've earned it. But I do think people are saying that they're unbeatable, and I don't think that. I also think Florida State will try to go up top on our cornerbacks. When you look at Daryl Porter Jr., when you look at Jaden Davis, shorter cornerbacks who are coming off injuries against Keon Coleman and Wilson, who are taller wide receivers, athletic wide receivers, go up and get it wide receivers, and they sat out last week so they can be ready for the Miami Hurricanes. This is going to be a fun matchup. The matchup I'm looking at is Coach G, Miami Hurricanes defensive coordinator, versus Coach Mike Norvell, the offensive mind of the Florida State Seminoles. That's where I'm looking at that I'll be watching, but it may come down to, can Miami quarterback, can they get good quarterback play to where they can move the ball and not turn over the ball? And then can Florida State defense force turnovers? Because if they force turnovers, Miami has showed that they can't overcome those turnovers. So that's what it's going to come down to. I'm rocking with my Canes. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments. I'm out. Peace.